Four Seas, One Family. My name is James Thomas. I'm coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. It's been a while since I've done anything here because I've been doing writing for other publications, but I'll be back. I wish I had a team here to do this, but look, let me just jump in here for a moment because a couple hours ago I was sent a video link of NVidia's boss, Mr. Jensen Huang. He did a keynote here at Computech. And what Computech is where primarily Taiwan, how would you say, high-tech companies, regardless of if they're doing hardware, software. Some of them have companies here in manufacturing plants here in Taiwan itself, mainland China and other parts of the world. And this is an occasion where they come here to promote their product or, to give more explanation about, what their product does, to build up audience, I should say public attention or investment enticements and things like that, which is really cool. I wouldn't say that it's a big place where people come here and pitch to any venture capitalists, angels like that, but we leave that to California, right? But this time it put a special ring in my head. I've always been interested in technology because, Taiwan is a place where you're just covered with it all the time. You got 10-year-old kids that don't go out and buy computers. They put computers together here, and it's quite interesting. Even I can even learn from, kids under the age of 12 talking about, high technology and things like that, and even AI. And now with this GTP out there, a subtle earthquake going on right now here in the land. Now, Mr. Jason Huang, he was born here in Taiwan. In fact, Tainan, that's my second home. I can say that in Tainan, Taiwan, in southern Taiwan. And, he's a very interesting person, educated in Oregon State University, I think. Yeah. And at the age of 30 in 1993, we're about the same age, he started NVidia, president and CEO, and he owns about, I think, 5% of the company itself, maybe more, I don't know. But quite a brilliant man. Brilliant name, right? His Chinese name is Huang Renxun. It's a very, very interesting name. I think he has a very, very interesting name. Renxun. Ren means like benevolence or merciful or something like that, and Xun means achievement, honor, merit. He's a very, very cool name. Wang Jian, yes. Wang Ren, second tone. Xun first, right? First tone. Wang Ren Xun, very interesting name. And he's a brilliant man. So I popped in on a station here called Feifan. In fact, I was watching Feifan Network's streaming on YouTube. And I was amazed. The presentation was in English. Okay? In English and for a Taiwanese audience. And I'm almost sure that the majority of the audience, Taiwanese, they may not speak English often, but they sure do understand English. A lot of the technologists' books here in Yuanwen are, in English. So a lot of them do understand that kind of technical language, English language, which I may not be able to understand. So that makes me a little jealous in that sense. But he had a very interesting, presentation, keynote, I should say. And like I said before, the man is brilliant. He obviously understands the technology. He understands how to be a leader. He understands. Otherwise he wouldn't be able to build a team like the team he has at NVidia. And he knows business. He knows how to promote himself. He was on stage dressed in all black, which was cool. The other day, he's going down to these night markets wearing his prestigious black, jacket, shirt, and pants, walking around like a regular Taiwanese, picking up some night market food, probably gained a couple of pounds. But, he seems to be a down-to-earth person. I would love to meet him, but especially after his keynote. And there's some things I would like to mention that may cause a little bit of hell raising, but he's stressed a lot about how his NVIDIA's technology and its relationship with ChatGPT is just innovative, amazing, and will, how would you say, put AI on this really fast-ass track. I mean, AI is moving so fast right now, and the situation is that it's moving so fast, we as the human race may not be able to catch up. I mean, you probably heard of things about what is something called a singularity and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into that right now, excuse me. But this is something we need to pay more attention to. And I mean, we as people. Now, Mr. Huang obviously, seems very passionate, knowledgeable, and seems to be a person that doesn't have a lot of openly, how would you say, negative hidden motivations. But I guess that's a skill you develop as being a good representative, speaker, and businessman person, if you're on that side of the speech. But let me continue. His main motive was to talk about how his technology multiplied itself over the years and how, for example, network providers can use his technology to not only expand, but simplify their process of handling incoming data. He also stressed how his data management system, based on the hardware that his company has built over the past, 12 years especially, will be able to, how would you say, offload a lot of the device processing and just be done in the web. For example, he did a demonstration that, for example, when you stream video, because now video is, really way up there now. Most of it, I'm here on YouTube, right? But he mentioned how, we traditionally have been sending information across the internet of copper lines and stuff like that for ages, but we haven't changed the technology in that sense. The tunneling of the information has not changed. But he did a demonstration today that shows that how the processing is not done on the device itself and how it can be streamed to hardware located in an ISP, for example, or even another company that maybe is promoting their own particular brand of online services or something for a background business. How the loading and for example, the compression and the video augmentation can be done on the server at the how would you say, the data center. That would speed things up and allow the receiving party to actually view an object from all angles. So you're looking straight at the camera, but the data is able to process so much information that you can turn your head around and it's like the camera going around you or moving in parallel with you. This is really crazy. Offloading it. So that means that your device can be very simple and all the data is processed remotely. That's a lot of power. He stressed how small companies who are in the data servicing industry can use software with his hardware to, for example, remotely control not only a data center, but factories, move machinery around virtually, and how robots remotely can actually do the actual manufacturing. And the word robot kind of like made my temples shrink in. Technology at first was, in most people's minds, they say over, 50, 60 years ago, at the time before I was born, but to make life easier. I remember back in the day looking at television, looking at these Whirlpool commercials, and man, how wonderful Teflon is, which is really not wonderful. But technology is supposed to make our lives easier. But now it sounds like, to me, I'll jump right over this bar here. It seems like technology is going to make us obsolete. And this is really something that we all need to think about, and especially when we try to make things great again. Yeah, talking about making things great again. And this is something we need to stop for a moment and think. Because the rendering of this type of technology will cause people, companies who are more concerned about their 报酬率, return on investment, that they themselves will look more to technology as the ultimate replacement theory. I mean, you hear about companies like Amazon using robots to move products around, using barcodes to put deliverable products in certain trucks and all that. You hear Amazon talking about using EV vehicles, electronic vehicles to send products, or even these small drones to deliver products in places where most vehicles will have a hard time to reach. So what does it put us people? Technology is supposed to, listening to Mr. Huang, he mentioned how his technology could be used to speed up medical research, medication process. That's great. When you have supercomputers that can take the chemical composition of A and B chemicals and put them together to see if they'll cause any type of abnormalities in people, this is great. I think that's moving in the right direction. But the ultimate replacement theory is what his technology would just exacerbate even more. I mean, you don't have to believe me, but the CP but this is something that you need to think about. Will we be needed? We as people. I remember about 15 years ago. That's right. I can still remember that far. I remember watching a video of Terry Guo Taiming. He's the backbone of manufacturing many products at a company called Honghai, Fushikang, and Taiwanese company Fushikang in mainland China. He was at his factory, walking around among his employees, his people who put things together for devices like from Nokia products, iPhone and stuff like that. And he came across an individual, mainland Chinese, smoking his cigarettes. And he said, hey, put the cigarette, put it out, because, we don't want, that kind of pollutants around our factory. And he got into an argument with the guy. And Terry Guo said to him, and I was watching the video, I wish I was able to save that video. He said, 我不需要你这种员工. I don't need you, this kind of worker. I don't need you, this kind of worker. And he was really peed off. And then, now that I think of it, even then it popped into my mind, but if you are a person who has to get products out, and you don't want to worry about your workers causing you any trouble, giving you any headaches, giving you a pain in the rear end. I mean, think about it. People get sick. Women have children. People have things to do. They have to take their medication. They may have downtime, which may cost you time in your production line. But, if you have a machine can work 24 hours a day. Only thing you have to do is make sure it gets enough electricity, is oiled up, or change a few gears here and there. Repurpose the tools needed to keep this machinery running, all done and enhanced with enhanced technology from NVidia and stuff like that. This is scary. And people need to just put their feet on the ground and think. And I don't care if you're coming from a democratic nation, a totalitarian nation. I don't care where you are. It's going to affect everyone. And what does it mean? What does it mean for us, those of us who have skin? And it doesn't matter what color your skin is, because it will affect us all. And I wonder how technology such as his, especially Mr. Huang's technology, Huang Renshen, how would his technology affect jobs? How would it affect people's relationships, families? How would it affect education? He did a demonstration of his avatar speaking English and translating into Mandarin Chinese and Korean. What would that do to, for example, language learning education? Hey, my kid doesn't need to learn a language. We have this app. But yes, back up a little bit. Who is really in control of the things that are supposed to make our lives, how would you say, easier, more convenient, less reliant? Who is really in charge? Only thing you have to do is tweak a translation program to say things you wanted to say. And all of a sudden, the translation, how to say that movie was called Lost in Translation. Things get lost in translation. It's already bad enough that when you translate contracts from one language to another, there's always the interpretation in a language that usually causes confusion. In English, it means this, but you look at the same translation, translated well enough, in another language, or especially Mandarin Chinese, it has a different connotation. 理解力的问题. And this is something that we need to think about with technology. Who is really in control? When people are in control, they can level up on how much effort and how much time they need to put into something. That's true. But when we put this type of loaded gun in someone else's hand, what happens to our souls? This is really something that we need to stay cognitive of. I mean, who, and this scares the hell out of me. It should. It should scare the hell out of everybody who listened and tuned in, instead of looking at oh, wow, going to be able to do this. Wow. Because Mr. Huang Jason was really promoting to businesses on how they can simplify whatever they're doing. And if you are an investor or that type of money capital type of person, I'm sure you're thinking about that too. You're not thinking about us individual people, those of us who have our feet on the ground. And this is something that people need to pay damn attention to. And I really mean this emotionally. Because if you don't, you're just out of your mind, or you're just sleepwalking. Or in this case, you have selective amnesia. This is something that we need to pay attention to. And I wrote here, now's the time we need to become more sensitive than ever to our advancements in AI technology, because if we don't, it may be too late for us as humans. And I say us with a big old booty smacking us. I don't care how you say it. So just stop and think about it. Look, Mr. Huang, if you're listening, hey, I'm not attacking you personally, but have you taken the time to think about that? 人生啊. Cool name, but have you think about it? Be benevolent this time. Be honorable in this sense, because it will affect people who have their feet on the ground. It's going to affect us all. But I think about other things too. Who would really like to get their hands on your technology? You mentioned in your technology how certain companies, advertising companies, for example, can use your technology, the technology that you have worked hard to create, to have individualized packaging for advertisement. For advertising. For example, if I'm thinking about buying a cup, right? If I want to buy a cup like this is my favorite cup, right? I get one type of advertisement about this cup that's tailored just for me. because you have my data profile someplace that companies share with each other. Don't think they don't. And you know what color I like. You know how much I like to drink my coffee in this cup. You know this because you see how much coffee I buy. Maybe you got it from my Starbucks app. So I get a form of advertisement to me that's not pulling raw data, just pulling it right on off of a say, for example, a Shutterstock or places that store pictures, shareware or pictures, or what do they call that? But actually, on the fly, tailor a production just for me. And for another person who has different drinking patterns or likes different colors and stuff like that, they get another version. So our version is not the same. On the fly. This is scary because we know now if you are a video editor, you know that now AI has now jumped into video editing production. Okay. And that video editing production is tailored based on the likes or what excites the certain demographic. What is the end game of this, or what will be the end game? Jobs will be affected, relationships will be muddled or muffled, or I don't know, people may not want to go outside. Education will have effects. And I mentioned earlier something about singularity. But we know who really would like to get their hands on this technology, and that is the military war complex, those who make money from fear. They'll love to get their hands on this type of technology so they can make war a video game. This is something we need to think about. When you play a video game and you shoot at something, you don't feel it. I have brothers who fought in Vietnam, and they have confirmed kills. That means you actually touch the person you are taking out. What happens when we get to that level is when you can get a 12-year-old to go into a real war, and that person will be like, he or she is playing a video game, and it's happening in real time. Boy, I'm really big on it. Sound pessimistic, but this is something we need to think about. Because if we don't, it may be too late for us all. And I don't care what is your political preference, your national ideology, your religion, your philosophy, or the color of this stuff that hides you inside. Because to AI, we probably all the same pigmentation. And we are the ones that are destroying the world. I wish I had a louder voice. And I just wanted to jump in here and say that. And maybe I should also question. Now, I don't know if Mr. Huang did this type of keynote or presentation in the stateside, but I have to also question why he made his particular keynote, especially the way he did here in Taiwan. I have to question that. Before I came here, a person that I really trust said to me on the phone, this for Taiwan can be the most dangerous or the safest thing for Taiwan. 进退两难. Catch-22. I have to question why Taiwan. His presentation was put so much in the forefront. I have to ask myself. Well, if I see Mr. Huang at a night market, I'll ask him that. I have the cojones to do that. Because, it bothers me when I see TSMC, technology, going to America, for example, to build plants and stuff like that, of course, the technology will transfer over there. Because if the technology is here in Taiwan, will the U.S. and other Western nations in particular be interested in allowing Taiwan to stay democratic and thrive and keep peace in the region? It bothers me. It bothers me mostly that other expats, foreign nationals here, just won't even dare have a conversation with me about this topic. I don't give a damn anymore. Somebody has to say something. Okay, I'm going to back out of here, and I thank you guys, thank all of you for taking the time for joining me here at 4Cs One Family. And, we do have a lot more in common than we think. So please, wherever you are, stay strong, safe, and healthy wherever you are in the world.